card review. So, we are on day 2 of Ravnica Allegiance spoilers, and lo and behold, we got some sweet cards coming up. From very good commander cards to some cool standard cards, as well as a new Command Zone previewed legend that I think is going to warp the CEDH meta for a while to come. So, without further ado, let's jump into this. So, I'm going to go over some cards that were spoiled yesterday, but I didn't mention them because reasons. So, Kaya, Orzhov Usurper, is 1 in Orzhov, so 3 mana, for 3 loyalty Planeswalker, Kaya. Or Legendary Planeswalker Kaya, whatever. +1, exile up to 2 target cards from a single graveyard. You gain 2 life if at least 1 creature card is exiled this way. -1, exile target non-land permanent with CMC 1 or less. And -5, so ultimate, Kaya the Usurper deals damage to target player equal to the number of cards that player owns in exile, and you gain that much life. So, when this card was first previewed, I was kind of iffy on it. I didn't think it was that great, but after talking with some people and realizing like what this could do, it's pretty good. Not so much in Standard, it's not very good in Standard, but in Eternal formats such as Legacy and perhaps even Modern, it seems very good. The -1 exiling a permanent with CMC 1 or less. There are a lot of broken 1 and 0 cost artifacts in Legacy and Modern, and not so much Modern, but more Legacy. For example, like any of like Mox, like not like the actual Mox, obviously, but like Chrome Mox, like the imprint one, they're probably Chrome Mox, but those are all, you can exile them just like that, and you can put them back 1 mana by Planeswalker -1. And then the plus is also pretty good for graveyard, like, strategies. Like, someone dumps, I don't know, Gristlebrand or whatever into the graveyard, bam, it's gone just like that. So I do believe this card is pretty good for some Eternal formats, as well as Commander, depending on your meta, obviously, but yeah. It's Kaya Orzhov Usurper. Next we have Dovin, Grand Arbiter. A 1 in Azorius, so 3 mana, for a 3 loyalty Legendary Planeswalker Dovin. Until end of turn, whenever a creature you control deals damage to a player, put a loyalty counter on Dovin Grand Arbiter. So that is 1 loyalty counter for each creature that dealt damage. -1, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact token with flying, you gain a life, okay. And -7, look at the top 10 cards of your library. Put 3 of them into your hand and the rest in the bottom of your library in any order. So, this is the same story with Kaya. I looked at it and thought, oh, this card isn't that good. But then I watched the Mana Source video on the reveal, and it is not that bad. It's not as bad as I thought it was. It's certainly not great. This is when I realized that Wizards can only push 3 mana walkers too far. This is good for what it is. Like, even though it isn't the Azorius colors and you have to be in an aggressive creature-heavy deck, if you can +1 it and then immediately get it to 7 and then ultimate it the next turn, a 3 mana dig through time, except digs more cards and gives you 1 extra card, is not that bad. That's pretty much what I think about the card. You have to be in a heavy creature-centric deck, though, for it to work, and a lot of EDH decks could get there, but overall, a card has to be kind of based around, a deck has to be based around this card, not this card being based into a deck. Mass Manipulation, XX and 4 blue for a sorcery. Gain control of X target creatures and or planeswalkers. This card is insane for a commander, obviously. You can pay a ton of mana. For example, if you pay 10 mana, you can gain control of 3 target creatures and or planeswalkers. That's stupid. If you have like a Super Friends meta in EDH, this is absolutely insane. Just pay 10 mana, even though that is a lot of mana. There's a lot of ways to generate tons of mana, or even infinite mana in Commander. For example, you could just generate infinite mana, then take control of everybody's boards, and then kill them with, I don't know, Master of Cruelties is my favorite option, personally. But, very good card in Commander, obviously. Alright, now on to today's spoilers. The first one we have is Seraph of the Scales. 2 and an Orzhov, so 4 mana, for a 4/3 angel with flying. You can pay a white and it gains vigilance until end of turn, or you can pay a black and it gains death touch until end of turn. And then it also has Afterlife 2. So, this card seems pretty good in constructed Magic, like Standard, for example. It hits the middle of the curve in Orzhov, and it has Afterlife 2, so it can just place a 2/1/1s when it dies. That's pretty much what I think about this card. It's a solid mid-range option for any Standard deck. Spawn of Mayhem is a 2 colorless and 2 black for a 4/4 demon with Spectacle costing 1 and 2 black. It has Flying and Trample, and at the beginning of your upkeep, Spawn of Mayhem deals 1 damage to each player. Then if you have 10 or less life, put a +1/+1 counter on Spawn of Mayhem. So, This is a 3/3 for 4 mana if an opponent has lost life this turn. That is obviously a very, very good rate, and it can grow if you have 10 or less life. You may want to watch out for that because it does will deal 1 damage to you on your upkeep. It's a solid mid-range demon. There's really nothing else to say about that. Alright, time for the Command Zones preview card, Prime Speaker Vanifar. It is 2 and a Simic, so 4 mana for a 2/4 legendary creature, Elf Ooze Wizard. Interesting creature types. You can tap it and Birthing Pod. So you can tap it, sack another creature, switch library for creature cost with CMC equal to 1, plus the sacrifice creature's CMC, put the card onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Activate its ability only time you can cast sorcery. So, this, I'm pretty sure people are going to find some way to abuse this in EDH. This card seems pretty broken. Commander, it'll be very fun to build around, even though I think people will target you immediately. Because you have a sack outlet, not a sack outlet, a tutor on your commander that's always sitting in the command zone. That's the first thing we've seen like this in a while. So this is a very, very good EDH card. I don't know if it'll do anything in Standard nor Modern, but for EDH, it's absolutely insane. Next, we have Pestilent Spirits, 2 colorless and a black, for a 3/2 spirit with Menace and Death Touch. Its instant and sorcery spells you control have Death Touch. So, this is interesting. I mean, there are definitely some like synergies you could do in EDH with this, like dealing 1 damage to something with an instant sorcery spell and then like killing it, which like Lightning Strike kills like a biggest dude or whatever in like red black like aggro or whatever. I don't know. I'm gonna have to wait for some more card spoiler. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that makes this amazing, but it's a very, very cool concept. Kind of like the Dominaria Biobox promo, giving all the spells lifelink. This one gives them Death Touch. I think this one is considerably worse because you, instead of killing the dudes just straight up, that oftentimes kills the dudes and gains you life. I don't know, we'll have to wait to see what synergies come out with this card. Endray's Forerunners is 5 colorless and 3 green, wow, for 7/7 board with Vigilance, Trample, and Haste. When it enters the battlefield, other creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain Vigilance and Trample until end of turn. So this is kind of like a Critterhoof Behemoth effect, right? It gives everything you control +2/+2 and Vigilance and Trample until end of turn. Seems very, very good in an EDH token deck. Obviously, this is not as good as Critterhoof Behemoth itself, but it could be a fine budget substitution or just a redundant effect for Critterhoof Behemoth. I like it. Ravager Worm is 3 colorless, 1 red, and 2 green, so 6 mana, for a 4/5 worm with Riot. When it enters the battlefield, choose up to 1. Ravager Worm fights target creature you don't control, okay, or destroy target land with an activated ability that isn't a mana ability, aka destroy a search for its content. This is pretty good. Like, limited, it's a huge bomb. Getting to come down as probably a 5/6 and destroying one of their creatures is very, very solid. Not really much more to say than that. It destroys a search for its content if necessary, or like a what's it called, treasure cove if necessary. I think it's very good for those two kind of effects, and it does what it does, and it does it well. Good card. Alright, our final spoiler for today, Rakdos the Showstopper. 4 colorless and 1 Rakdos, so 6 mana total, for a 6/6 legendary creature demon with flying and trample. When it enters the battlefield, flip a coin for each creature that isn't a demon, devil, or imp. Destroy each creature whose coin comes up tails. So, not standard playable, obviously. Not modern playable, but this does seem playable in EDH. This seems like it could be a very, very fun commander. Just jam your deck full with all of these demons, devils, and imps. I actually looked into it. The thing about this is that demons are often very expensive and often require you to sack creatures. Like, they have some kind of inherent downside that comes with them. So, and with all those big demons, I don't think this is a very good necessarily EDH deck, but it seems very, very fun nonetheless. So that is it for today's spoilers. If you enjoyed, be sure to smack a like on it and subscribe if you have not yet. And as always, this video is brought to you by you, the subscriber. Be sure to subscribe to the MtgGalaxy YouTube channel for all the most recent Ravnica Allegiance spoilers, soon to be GP vlogs. I'm actually leaving later today to go to Oakland, and much more. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys all in the next video.